On a recent vacation to Japan, I got to visit Tower Knives located in Osaka. I have a real appreciation for Japanese cutlery and the amount of work that goes into making a kitchen knife. Here's a display from start to finish of all the steps that go into forging a knife. It takes a lot of work. The knives are made mostly locally in Osaka from what they told me, and some are made in other parts of Japan. They have all kinds of knives, knives for the professional chef all the way to an aspiring home chef like myself, and with prices to match. This huge long-looking sword-like thing is actually a long knife used to fillet tuna all in one cut. Alright, so here are my purchases from Japan, and as I already mentioned, Tower Knives I visited. I purchased these two in Tower Knives, but I want to just talk real quick about two other places I visited in Japan. And they were both in an area in Tokyo called Kababashi. And in English, I think that translates to Kitchen Town. And if you Google it, that's kind of what comes up. And I found that there's two stores in the area, one called Kamada, and the other one called Kamasa. The day I went, it was super busy, so I wasn't actually able to get in there to talk to anyone. For some reason, it was like crazy busy. I don't know if they cater to tourists, because the area is really interesting because it's mostly a kitchen supply area, so there's lots of people, just vendors selling stuff to supply restaurants. Anyways, I guess tourists, there's a lot of people going to Japan and interested in Japanese cutlery. So I wasn't able to get in there to actually purchase anything. I wanted to speak to someone, so what I was able to do though on my way back to the apartment was I just happened to, by chance, come across this little store, and the owner, I think, was there. He didn't speak any English, so it was pretty hard to communicate with him. Of course, my Japanese is terrible, but we were able to communicate a little bit, and I used Google Translate, which was super handy to kind of communicate with him. But he was able to show me his stuff, very, very helpful, not crowded at all. So it was kind of really interesting just to visit a local shop that I don't think was frequented by tourists at all. So what I was able to pick up, he had a pretty good selection, and he sold other stuff too, like hardware and like, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. But he did have a lot of knives as well. So kitchen knives was part of his selection. So I went in and had a look, and I picked up this guy here. And he was able to explain to me that this is stainless steel forged, and you can still see that there's the finish on it, this hammered finish part here, with a soft jacketed steel, stainless, and then a high carbon white steel in the center here. You can make out the difference between the two there. Hopefully it'll focus in. The lighting on a shiny object isn't the easiest to work with, to film. But anyways, I don't think that's necessarily a hamon. I think a hamon is like when it's differential hardening, which technically I suppose this is, but it is two different types of steel. Regardless, where you can see the harder steel is right where that line is. I'll call it the hamon line. I might not be right. Anyways, and then the softer stainless steel. So what makes this so nice is that it won't rust. The more traditional ones are made completely out of carbon steel, and they can rust, but you can also make a nice patina out of them over time. But this is just a little bit less maintenance. Has the chiseled in kanji for the make, I believe, and has a traditional handle, which is what I like. So I was shopping around, I wanted a traditional handle, and then it just hammered, I think burnt and hammered in. Super sharp, like just unbelievably sharp, super fine. And that's the thing about Japanese cutlery, is it's very different than Western cutlery in that it's very fine edge where they grind it on a big wheel to create almost like a hollow grind here, and then they sharpen the edge. So it's super fine edge, which you can't really chop with these. You're not supposed to. It's more of a slicing motion. So when you cut into something, you slice. So really, I'm quite happy with this. And it's a double beveled knife, more like a Western style knife. And I'll talk about the bevels here in a second when I visited Tower Knives. Because Japanese knives, typically they're more single beveled, more like a chisel grind. And for specific, for cutting, I guess, vegetables or fish, making sushi, they have knives very specific to a purpose, which is a little bit different than a Western chef's knife, where it's you just use it and it's an all-purpose knife. This is a sentoku, by the way. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Much more common now in the West, in North America and in Europe. So this is more of a Western style knife in a Japanese construction, I suppose. Although I think it is a Japanese knife, the sentoku. But I think more traditionally they use chisel ground knives where you have a flat one side and then a grind on one side, so it's ground one way, so that it's a knife is specifically made for a right hand or left hand. So they're not really ambidextrous knives, I guess, have you. Now, what I picked up in Tower Knives were these two, and this one here is a gift for a friend, and with more of a traditional Western style handle with a single, with the tang going into the knife here, into the handle I should say, into a hardwood with two rivets. Again, a really beautiful line where the high carbon meets the stainless steel. Again, these are stainless steel, I believe, and even the core, I think this metal here is stainless steel. And because Tower Knives, they kind of give you a little more explanation. They have people who also speak English. So this was made with VG10 stainless steel. I looked it up. So it's a stainless steel, and this one in particular is a Bunka 165 millimeter. Again, this knife here, like the other one, is a double bevel down. It's not the grind is on both sides. Very fine edge again. So what I wanted to mention is that they at Tower Knives, they explained to me that Japanese knives, because they're incredibly fine and more like a razor, and you could shave with this, by the way, just incredibly sharp. You don't chop with it because you're just going to ruin the edge. It's slicing or cutting, a pulling motion or a pushing motion, and they have stuff there for you to cut and try some vegetables and stuff. So this knife here is very similar to this one, just a little bit different, and it's again all handmade craftsmanship, all three of them. But these two in particular, they're made in Osaka apparently, and they both came with these cards about the person who did the grinding. So this Fuji guy, he's been grinding for 50 years, so I imagine he's pretty darn good at it. So it's kind of interesting they include these cards, so you can tell that they're really catering to the tourist market. This is a Sentoku 170 millimeter, and you can even see here how it's traditional, because I've watched how they make these handles. There's this ridge here on the way when they sand or grind these knives. They've mass-produced these handles, so it definitely is of a traditional construction. Again, this one here, it's got the high carbon with this has a stainless steel, and I believe this one is made out of Jin 3, and I looked that up. It is a stainless steel. Very nice knife, well balanced, it fits the hand nice, beautiful knife. Now, the cost of these knives, these two were a little bit more expensive than this one, because these kind of have quote-unquote a pedigree. I hate to say that, because Tower Knives, they do cater to tourists, and they probably know that they're catering to tourists, and they do have English-speaking staff, really helpful, super friendly, and really helpful place, and I highly do recommend going there if you're interested in Japanese cutlery. They'll be able to talk to you and explain to you and see what your needs are. There were a few other people there when I got there, and they were helping them out. Just really great staff, so it's a really neat experience. But you do pay a little bit more Whereas this one here, I kind of just bought it on a whim, and you know, I didn't have the tailored service at an actual knife shop with people who could speak English and explain to me. So it just depends what you're looking for. So again, beautiful chiseling on the kanji here with the make of the knife, or the from what I understand, I think it's the model or the make. Yeah, they even tell you so on this, the inscription. So it's the name of the brand, and then it has that it's truly forged, meaning that this was actually forged, hand forged, which is really cool. So really nice cutlery, just beautiful. And again, I don't know how much I'm going to really use them per se. My style of cooking is more Chinese, and I do more chopping, and I like using a Chinese cleaver, but I have a real appreciation for Japanese craftsmanship, how they make this. So just to own these is just, I think, even just a nice piece of art. So I will use it. I will have it up on my magnetic knife holder in the kitchen, and I will use them a little bit. But I just really do enjoy the Japanese cutlery. One last thing, I wanted to talk about the cost of these knives. This one I picked up here in Tokyo. These two I picked up at Tower Knives. This one here, all three of them perform very similar, like super sharp, all of them. Like just razor sharp. All perform equally. But the cost difference between them all, you know, I paid a little bit more, or I should say quite a bit more, but it depends, for the ones at Tower Knives compared to this one here that I've got at the mom and pop shop. This one here cost 10,000 yen, this one costs 11,000 yen, and this one cost double this one, 21,000 yen, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. Even though they all perform very similarly, quality of construction very similar, you know, just you know, going to Tower Knives, you're getting a customized experience and talking to them, and you know, it's kind of like, you know, they have these cards here and has the picture of the guy who made or ground the knife and stuff. It's neat. It's not what really I need, but it is kind of adds to the experience a little bit. So that made it kind of fun, but unnecessarily for me. But certainly, if that's what you're into, certainly go for it. But I thought the experience at Tower Knives was great, but I really thought going to the mom and pop shop and just finding a knife and picking one out that I liked. This was really cool as well, and it didn't cost as much, and I still got a really awesome knife. It just, when I got to Tower Knives, and I didn't even, you know, wasn't expecting to go, just, you know, I was in Japan, and how often am I going to make it to Japan again? I thought, you know, what the hell, I'll pick up another one. So those are my purchases from Japan for Japanese cutlery. The level of craftsmanship that they put into it, just really nice. So I'm super happy with these. So check them out if you're in Japan. If you're into cutlery, go check out some Japanese knife shops, and you know, it was a really neat experience.